God, we're here Tuesday night, Shabbat in the middle of the week. Baruch Hashem. We're finishing up the chapter on Dveikut, clinging to Hashem, attachment to Hashem, living our life completely attached to Hashem, whether we're praying, learning, walking down the street, eating food, spending time with our wife, taking out the garbage, no matter what a Jew is doing. He needs to be attached. The word is Dveikut, which in Hebrew means glue, right? Literally adhesion to Hashem. One and one bound, right? So tonight we're gonna, B'ezrat Hashem, try to go in and understand this last part in this chapter, to understand what is Dveikut, to summarize it, and to try to, download this and start to apply this in life. Sometimes a person feels dry, feels like, lacking life, lacking vitality. And he wants to arouse his heart in order to feel Dveikut. And there's a few different ways to do this. First, we just had a perfect introduction. The power of a nigun, the power of a song, that can arouse Dveikut. Holy songs have a very, very strong ability to arouse a heart towards Hashem. Like everybody knows in their body, in their senses, in their soul, like we just felt 3 minutes ago, right? Therefore it's fitting for every single person that's serving Hashem, you should have some nigunim in your head that are clear to you, that you know them. Anytime you want to go into Dveikut, you can arouse the heart by way of that nigun. Also, when you're coming to pray and you're coming to learn Holy Torah, you want to arouse your heart to Hashem a little bit more, sing the words with a beautiful nigun, right? As you're reading, right? B'ezrat Hashem, you're going to see wonders, exactly like that. Put a nigun, put some song into your voice. The power of a nigun is immense. Key to open up your heart. This is a known piece of advice. It's known that niguns are powerful, but we have to get used to using them at all times, right? The power of chazara. Chazara is going back over what you've learned already, right? To review it. It's a review. We have to know how important review is of our learning. By way of our chazara, by way of reviewing the Torah that we've already learned, we can get through that into the light of Dveikut. Going over something that you've already learned is a key and a vessel and a way to get into the inner meaning of it, because you already know the simple meaning. So when you go over it again, you find new applications. You're a different person yourself. So now you're approaching something you already experienced once on a deeper sense. Whether we're talking about learning Torah, you have to repeat and you have to review your learning a lot. You have to return and repeat and say those same words over and over. To go back and to contemplate every single approach, and the Gemara about like that, and this, and this rabbi said that, and this one said that. Go through the whole process again of your learning. And to learn that same part, that same idea, that same section that's dealing with one idea over and over and over again. By way of this, you're going to merit to feel the Dveikut that's inside the Torah. גם יוכל אחרי הרגשות האור לחזור למעשיו בעולם הזה ביתר שאת ולא להרגיש שהאור והעולם מסתרים אחד את השני. When you go back over and over your Torah, and you get to this level of Dveikut from repetition within Torah that you've already learned, then it allows you to go, not only do you get the light of Dveikut, it allows you to have an easy transition back into the world, right? Because you've now gone deeper, instead of bringing something new, you've gone deeper and deeper into an idea. When you go back into the world, there's not such of a disconnect, right? Because you have new eyes, you have deeper eyes in it. It's going to help your clinging to Hashem. Your Dveikut is going to be stronger when you go back into the world, because now you've done a very high level of chazara, of review over your Torah learning, and that brought you higher. every part of the Torah that a person repeats and does more and more repetition, you merit to a different version of Dveikut, a different angle into the Dveikut, right? You learned this Torah, now you go repeat it every time. Like we said, you're a new person, you're repeating it, you're reviewing it again. Now every time you're approaching the Dveikut from a different ofan, like a different face, a different vantage point. Because when you go over the Tanakh, you merit the Dveikut of Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim. When you read Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim, the Bible, what's called, right? The 24 books, holy books of the Torah. When you read that, then you're getting upon yourself the light of accepting upon yourself the oak of Hashem, meaning the yoke of Hashem, that you have work to do, there's a Torah and you have to follow it. Right? That's the world of Asiyah. And when you go over Mishnayot, when you repeat Mishnayot over and over, you merit to the Dveikut of the Ahava and Ira, of love and awe, which is Yetzirah, the world of Yetzirah. And when you repeat Gemara and you review your Gemara, you merit to Bitul HaYesh, the nullification of the ego, V'lakochot shel Yegiyah b'Avodat Hashem, and which is nullifying your ego, and also immense power and ability to work hard to serve Hashem, right? To have a passion and a longing and a yearning to push and to make an effort, right? Which is in the world of Bria. And I can't leave out there. Obviously, when you learn the secrets of the Torah, when you learn the Pnimiyut of the Torah, then you're getting Tatzilut, right? And when you go over Razin de Razin, which is what's called Chasidut, right? Then you get to Bitul Be'etzem. You're nullified at your core. You have no reality at all, just clinging to Hashem, right? So too, to repeat the holy names that we have, the names of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, with all the different vowelage, right? And Ekyeh and Adnut and all these different names, to repeat them over and over and over with a different nigun, attach a nigun to it, contemplate the name while singing a nigun, open your heart more and more and more and more. Everything only according to your ability, meaning where you're at in life, right? When you feel vitality and you feel a passion that you want to meditate on Hashem, these are the keys, right? But it has to be, if you're really holding there, you have to, meaning everyone should have an ability to do this, right? But we're all human and we all have the days that we feel connected and the days we feel less connected. You can't push yourself to do an hour of meditation on a day that you feel like sleeping for 20 hours. Right? It's not going to work so well. So you have to be real with yourself. But you have to work on these things. Even if you feel it's a little bit hard, but you want to, and you push hard and you try, it has to be from a place of, not from anger, not of anxiety, and not of depression, not of sadness. It has to be like, no, I'm coming to connect to Hashem, I should be happy. I'm coming to work on my Dveikut. So too, and when it comes to the avodah of working and talking to Hashem, there too, talking to Hashem, you also have this idea of reviewing and of going over and repeating. You feel like you don't have what to say. You come to do Itbodedut, to sit, to have your time to talk to Hashem. Yavesh, as we say, right? Dry, no words are coming out. Repeat the same words that you already said to Hashem. Od pam, again and again and again, say it again and again. It's known in Breslov, they say, that if a person comes to do Itbodedut and he doesn't have words to say Ribono Shel Olam, Ribono Shel Olam, Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the world, Master of the world, Master of the world. Just say it over and over and over again. It does not. Right, Rabbi Nathan brings it out. Until you merit that your inner side is opened up, and you will have a revelation of new words to say, new speech to come down. This is a very unique piece of advice. There's people that feel that they're far from Dveikut, they're far from being attached to Hashem. It's not because they don't have a desire to be attached to Hashem, because you have to kind of sort of feel it inside. And if they don't feel it, right, because their neshama is covered up, and it has layers and layers and layers from being attached to this world and different things that are against Torah and against the will of Hashem. Then when you come into the Torah and you want to come now to connect to Hashem, you have layers on your heart. You have to reveal it. You have to, clean up the mess in order for you to really feel it, because it is hard to feel. Rusty, so to say. The advice for this is to repeat a lot the words that you're learning. And all of your requests that you ask from Hashem again and again. So too on the intentions of Hashem's name and the feelings and the emotions when we come to pray and connect to Hashem. Until by way of the mercy of Hashem, the internal aspect and internal feeling will be opened up for the person. For example, when you come to say, Ata chonem la'adam dat, you give to man wisdom and understanding, right? You feel that Hashem, He's the one that gives all of us consciousness, right? Knowledge and connection. And go back and think about it. Repeat, think about it. You, Hashem, are the one that gives us wisdom. You, Hashem, are the one that gives us wisdom. Repeat it in your head. Think about it. Only you give Hashem. Only you, Hashem, gives us consciousness. It's all just yours. All the wisdom in the world is yours. Right? In Pshat and Halacha, you're not allowed to repeat words when you're coming to pray. If you're in Amidah, you can't say the word again and again and again. Right? Especially if it's the bracha part. Right? But in your thought, in your contemplations while you're saying the words, and in your emotions when you're saying the words, it is proper there to go over and over and go deeper and deeper and feeling that it's Hashem, everything I have is from you. You can feel that as long as you want, just don't repeat the word. That's halacha, that's fine, no problem. That's what we should be doing. Right? Limud sfarim malivim. You have to learn books that give you passion. Baruch Hashem, that's why we come here every Tuesday, right? It's good and proper to learn books that cause you and give you this emotion that you want to cling to Hashem, you want to cling to Him. Like the Holy Zohar, right? Baruch Hashem. Even, right, for those of us here that haven't still gone into the Torah of the Sod, the Pnimiyut, the secrets of the Torah, 2/3 of the Zohar, just so you know, 2/3 of the Zohar is the Midrash of Rabbi Shimon. It's not deep Kabbalah. 2/3 of the Zohar is the Midrash of Rabbi Shimon. Right? There's Nigle within the Zohar. Right? The Matok Midvash have these places that in the Matok Midvash edition they have a whole entire sections of the ones that are completely Midrash, right? That are Rabbi Shimon not connected to Kabbalah. By way of the Zohar, though it's still the Zohar, it's still Rabbi Shimon, right? You're still going to be giving, you're going to quench the thirst of your neshama. By way of the immense, powerful light that's hidden inside the Zohar. The Zohar is filled with this arousal of fiery passion to connect to Hashem, to serve Hashem, and to cling to Him. Reading the Zohar is an immense power to purify and sanctify a person, right? To acquire Dveikut, and the recognition of God in the world. To feel that there's nothing besides Hashem. Only the service of Hashem is the true life, right? That doesn't mean that you don't work, that doesn't mean you're not in this world, but everything that you do is according to halacha. Everything that you do, and the Torah has touched it all. Business, neighbor, right? Divorce, marriage, birth, death, everything is covered in halacha. So you can live your life completely, be just like every other Joe Schmo in the world, any goy in the world, but you're a Yid, and everything you do is a mitzvah and bringing you closer and closer and closer and closer to Hashem. And the Zohar is an immense way to pick this up. The Arizal here in Tzfat, right? He said that for Bali Tshuva that they should read 5 pages of Zohar a day and it will clean their neshama. No understanding. It's not about understanding. Read the 5 pages. Read 5 pages of Zohar a day, right? And it cleans your neshama out. You have to try to learn with a nigun, and you have to try to learn out loud. Don't read this with your mouth closed. You have to read out loud. Use your body. Use all of your limbs and your organs. With a heart, with emotion. The more you go deeper and deeper and dig into the depths of your heart, so too you merit to the springs of living water. It's also good to deal with the stories of tzaddikim, the stories of the righteous people, our rabbis and our sages in the past, right? And the ones that are living now, to go in their stories. There's tons on YouTube, there's tons on the internet, there's thousands and thousands of videos and articles and books. So that your heart should be aroused to go in their path. And to cling to Hashem with all of your might, like they did, like the tzaddikim do. And another one is Darkecha aguf. נקודה יסודית בכלל Avodat Hashem Yitbarach, a very, very fundamental point in the service of Hashem, specifically in feeling the light of Dveikut, of attachment to Hashem. You have to purify and rectify your body. To purify yourself more and more. And to be consistent in learning Torah with the approach of, I want to cling to the soul of Hashem that's in these words. I don't want to get wiser. I'm not trying to become a rabbi. I'm not any of this. I'm trying to connect to Hashem by way of these words. That is Torah Lishma. And to sanctify by way of that learning and that comprehension, to sanctify my actions. And specifically, main thing is you have to purify yourself from the three main lusts of life. What are they? Achila, mamon, v'ni'uf. Eating, money, and sex. Right? Promiscuity. The more a person is purified, meaning he doesn't eat like a pig, he doesn't eat like an animal, right? He's not chasing after money all day long, and he's not looking at women in the street, whether it's for pleasure, whether it's for anything. He's keeping his eyes down, and he's not looking at these things. He's definitely not touching them, for sure not. Right? Therefore, he'll have more ability, he'll have more power in his soul to be able to not only recognize the light, to feel the light, to attain the light, to keep it in his life, and to continue to get holier and holier and closer to Hashem. The person has to work to purify themselves more and more and more. And then there's conditions in order to get the light of Dveikut. First things first, you have to work hard. You have to put in effort. It's not something, we're talking about one of the highest things, loftiest things that you can do in the world. To cling to the source of everything. It's not a simple thing. You have to work hard in order to have Dveikut to Hashem. To purify yourself and to clean yourself every time, again and again and again. One intention every time. I'm coming for the purpose, I'm coming towards the end, coming towards Hashem. To nullify yourself and to cling to Hashem. Don't look if you're being successful and feeling it or not. It's not about that. Then you'll start to be successful. A lot of people come in seeking out, clinging to God and feeling godliness. There's those who the Shekhinah is revealed to them, and there's those that don't merit. Who does the Shekhinah really reveal itself to? The person who was able to put on the yoke, meaning there's work to do, I don't feel like doing it, and I'm going to still do it because I know what the Torah expects from me. That person who pushes through in the hard times, and he gets up to pray when it's time to pray. And he does what he has to do, and he learns his Torah, and he eats, and he makes his blessings, and he does things that he doesn't feel like doing because we're humans, and we have to do the Torah. That is obviously to make us elevate. It's against our animalistic side, and it's to more tap into the God side, right? Whoever takes upon himself to do that in the hard times, that's who the Shekhinah reveals herself to. That's who gets godly presence on them. The people that push hard and get through the hard times. A lot of times the light, it's not illuminating the way for you when you're coming to do the thing. The light comes afterwards. By way of the effort that you put in earlier. You work. It's just like life. We're all here for what? Not to live in this world. It's not about this world. We're meant to sanctify this world. We're meant to bring God into this world. But it's the reward that we're expecting is a million, gazillion, infinite times more than anything we could feel in this world, right? We can't get it mixed up. We're meant to be holy here, but we're here in order to get to a much, much loftier place after life, right? Same thing in life. You work hard, there's time to work, and there's time to have fun. I've been here for 8 days working in a shift, and now is the time to use the same place to have fun. Baruch Hashem, right? We have to ascend from level to level. Another immense principle is, when you're coming to serve Hashem, you have to very, very, very be careful to go from level to level, and to not jump levels, to not skip levels, to not run ahead on the stairs. Even though our purpose in life, our goal in life is to constantly be connected to Hashem, to live with Him and to feel Him at all times, we are forced and obligated to go into this slowly. כי כשהיצר הרע רואה שהאדם מתעורר להתעלות, when the yetzer hara, when the evil inclination sees that a person is now trying to make effort in order to ascend and to go higher and higher, ונכנס בדבקות באמת, and he's really starting to cling to Hashem, אזי הוא רוצה לבלבל אותו, he comes to confuse the person, ועיקר דרכו לבלבל היא על ידי ריבוי אור. What's the Shem's number one way to confuse a person? By sending him a lot of light. Right? The yetzer hara, he comes and he says, oh, come do this holy thing, come do this holy thing, come do this holy thing, learn this deep Torah, this, and now the person, yeah, why? It's a mitzvah, these are all holy things to do. But you don't understand that it's being sent to you by the yetzer hara, because he knows that if you get too much light, your vessels are going to be shattered, and you're not going to wake up the next morning, and you're not going to be a better Jew, right? So you go chasing all these different lights, but you're being fooled, because it's being sent to you by the other side in order that all of your vessel will be exploded, and now you're not going to be a good Jew for 3 days, right? You're not going to be connected for 3 days because you went too hard for 2 days chasing lights that instead of doing what you had to do. Meaning, he pushes the person to want to be successful straight away as well, right? Now I want to cling to, now I want to get to that level, to get high levels, right? Be careful, guys. Here in Sfat for a week, don't get it twisted. You got to go back. You're going to leave the city, right? But this is a place that you can get to these immense feelings, right? But you have to know, it's level by level by level. Right? The yetzer hara tries to make you look down on your small successes along the journey, right? You move to Israel, that you're doing well, that you're ascending in life, you're connecting more, you're learning, you're caring more about yourself, about God. You want to discover things. You want to learn more Torah, you want to pray better, you want to have more intentions, you want to be more careful when you're eating. All these things are good things, right? And the more a person's successful in them, you have to be happy with every little success along the journey. But that's the proper way. Not trying to jump for big goals all the time, and then you're not happy about that because you're going to definitely fail, you're not going to reach it, right? Because you don't have the vessel for it. And you're not going to be able to appreciate the small things along the way because they don't look like they're important enough in front of the big goal. Therefore we have to be careful, slowly but surely. We don't build the temple in one moment. Get used to doing it more and more from time to time. You purify yourself more and more. Go deeper and deeper slowly, but you go deeper and deeper into your heart. I want to come closer to Hashem. Until you come to the internal depth, the deepest abyss that you have in your heart, and you'll merit to not lose consciousness or lose attention of Hashem for one moment at all. In the beginning, advice now for all of us from this class going out, when do we want to start working on it? When is the right time to work on dealing with connecting to Hashem? When we come to do spiritual things specifically. When you come to pray, go into the Amidah saying, I want to try to feel attachment to Hashem during these next 18 minutes, 18 blessings, right? When I come to do a mitzvah, and when I come to learn Torah, here, sitting us around here, we're doing a spiritual thing. Try to merit to feel a little bit of the thing, of a connection to Hashem. And when you merit to ascend, then you will ascend as well in your work. Even on your free time now, right, where you're not learning Torah, praying, or doing a mitzvah, there too you're going to be able to have Dveikut when you're walking down the street. There's yichudim, how to walk down the street. If anybody doesn't know, there's Kabbalistic unifications of how to walk down the street and how to look and everything. You can be walking down the street completely seeing letters in front of you, and you're attached to Hashem on the highest level, more than when you're learning Torah, right? Because it's a very hard thing to do, and if you really work on it on a high way while you're walking and seeing the whole entire world, but you're just seeing God, it's a very lofty thing, right? But that's with time. After that you can go even higher. That you can come to work and you can come do physical things that are mundane completely, and you can cling to Hashem there when you're eating, when you're drinking, when you're alone completely, right? Then you can get to a higher level when you can be coming to Dveikut when you're dealing with other people. When you come to talk to someone, and you bring into existence the pasuk, I have placed Hashem in front of me at all times, constantly, right? It's known with the tzaddikim. They say that the tzaddikim, when they're talking to people, they're talking to Hashem. Right? We see a regular conversation between two people. In the tzaddik's perspective, he's talking one-on-one with Hashem. Right? So too, on the amount of time that we should be investing in this. In the beginning, a little bit of time. He says dafka specifically. Now, if this is the first time you're hearing this, or this is your fourth class in Dveikut, right? How much time should we be spending on this? A little bit. But it should be a set time. Every single day, right? The tamid offering, the constant offering was always morning and afternoon, morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon. They didn't miss it. After that, you can ascend and you can start to cling for longer times. And we have to appreciate and be happy in every small thing that we get. You have to know that if you merit to understand and to cling to Hashem for 1 minute, that's already a very, very big thing. If you even get an opening, a tiny opening of light in your heart, that's already included in the mitzvah of know your Father is God and serve Him. Right? Just having a little bit of light that you know in your heart that came from you from trying to connect to Hashem, right? A Shabbat, Kabbalat Shabbat, that amazing feel that you have, singing a nigun, whatever it is. You get this emotion in your heart, you get goosebumps, whatever it might be, whatever level, but you know it's coming from a spiritual thing. That's a huge thing you have to be very happy for. Don't ever disgrace or put down any level, any amount of light that came to you. Even if it's a little illumination. Everyone according to their level, right? What's considered small for you. The beginning is always from a true point. Even if it's the smallest spark, there's always a point of truth there. True Dveikut, true revelation from Hashem, that light is real, right? We have to know how to ascend and how to go down. And to not be broken down and to not give up. Whoever wants to merit to Dveikut, you have to take him upon yourself the midah of netzach, right? Of perseverance, of dominance, of tenacity, in a holy sense. There's those who feel the light, after that, right, the light disappears and you don't see success in your work. The Yetzer Hara is trying to make you have despair. Trying to make you look for other things and things that are not connected. We need to not leave Dveikut, to clinging to Hashem. We have to stay clinging to Hashem. Even if it's just on the most internal part of your heart. There's the most essential part of your work in Dveikut is in the deepest part of your heart. Even if a person falls and does things against the Torah, God forbid. Externally, it's considered as if the person was kidnapped by the Yetzer Hara, was kidnapped by the Satan to do that thing. Internally, you're not allowed to lose your head. You're not allowed to lose your intellect. Right? Your body might have got swept up in some craziness and you did something. Do not lose the intellect in your head. Right? You fell, you did something against the Torah and you know you messed up. Don't let it mess with your head. The constant fire is burning and it will not be extinguished. Constantly, you have to renew yourself with a brand new fire. In the second temple, there was a sin that the Jews were marrying non-Jewish women. Which is a horrible, horrible thing. Even though they did that, they merited to do tshuva. And there's people, right, that it bothers them that they fell into sin, they've been doing things against the Torah. Right? Or people bother you and their traits bother you and their acts bother you. You have to not get confused by this. Don't get startled by this. Not from anything, not any confusion that could be in this world. Close your eyes and cling to Hashem in the deepest way possible without any interruptions. We have to not lose consciousness of the honor of Hashem. Any of the situations that could be going over a person, whether you have light coming down on you and everything's fine and dandy, or whether you're completely consumed inside of a cloud. Fog everywhere. Everything is just a garment and a cover-up and an opportunity to have true Dveikut, to cling to Hashem because you know you are clinging to Hashem no matter what, but to live it out. Every Jew has this most internal point in him, that you know no matter what, I'm one and one with Hashem. Nothing can interrupt that. There might be a million things going on outside or all around me. I know the reality that I'm one with Hashem. Sometimes there's confusions in life, right? And it seems as if right now it's impossible for me to cling to Hashem. Or he fell down, he did some sin. But we have to remember, a Jew is constantly with Hashem. Any minute, any situation that he's going through, all you're doing is experiencing revelations from Hashem that's directly for you at any moment. Any different type, any shade, to recognize that Hashem in all levels of life, that's our goal. This is, Baruch Hashem, this is things that we have to work on. Like Rashbi said, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Meron, right? Shekol yamav haya b'dveikut. Rabbi Shimon said his whole entire life he was in dveikut. V'ze lo ba lo bekalut. It didn't come easily. Kedita b'zohar kadosh hashchina hayita b'orachat mi Rashbi. It says in the Zohar that the Shechina would run away, would escape and flee Rashbi. B'chol minei mekomot. In all these different places, the Shechina was running away from Rashbi. Aval hu chipes achareh b'chol et. But he was seeking her out at any given moment. And he found her in this place, in a different place, in a different place. He was constantly seeking out the revelation of Hashem in this world, and it was running away from him at any given moment, right? To the point that he merited finally, right, to find her in this place and to find her in that place. Therefore, we can't get taken back by any kind of fall, any kind of descent. You merited already to very lofty levels of dveikut and connection. Right? It might appear to you that you're losing all the levels that you've attained and everything. You have to do your job to the best of your hand's ability. Right? You have to do what you can. You have to make yourself happy about anything that you did merit to do. After that, you have to trust in Hashem that He's going to complete the work. Right? You do what you can. Revelations, successes, failures, that's not in our hand. You're commanded to do a certain thing. You do it, right? With connection, with an intention to do the will of Hashem and to be happy by way of it. The outcome, we don't do anything anyway. Right? It's all in Hashem's hand. We just have to put in effort. Right? Right? We have to be doing all of this work of Dveikut with nullification to Hashem, with good midot, with good character traits, and not for our own honor. The goal is to nullify ourselves to Hashem and to be included in Him. The more a person recognizes the reality of Hashem, you feel how much of zeros we are, how much we're nothing in this world. The more you know how infinite Hashem is, and the fact that you are just finite already separates you completely, you nullify into the reality that Hashem is everything. So a person who's working to cling to Hashem, and he's also doing unifications, contemplating Hashem's name and feeling the emotion in his heart. But his whole entire goal is to puff up his chest, to get better, to get greater. But his goal is to not really to get closer to Hashem and to cling to Him. Then he missed the goal completely. Completely missed the goal. Right? There's people that are looking for lights and all these different amazing things, right? But it's all mixed with ego. Right? And even more so if he didn't purify himself from his actions in this world. So then you have already a grasp of the klipa. From this comes all the mistakes, all of the foolishness. You cannot get real light and real intense connections with Hashem if you haven't purified yourself, if you haven't started to work on being holier, to clinging to Hashem, and to have humility. And if the intention is for the sake of Hashem, with the intention of only trying to connect to Hashem and to increase His honor and His recognition in the world. Right? Therefore, in the beginning, we have to throw away all of our desires. We have to throw them out the window. Even if we have the desire to be prophets in a holy way, right? To have Hashem completely flowing through us. I'm not looking for levels, I'm not looking for achievement, I'm not looking for any of that. My goal is to cling to Hashem. The fact that I sit down for 5 minutes to try to contemplate His name is achieving that. Whether I got a light, I felt an emotion, I got goosebumps, my eyes rolled back, any of these things, doesn't matter, right? None of that is important. Is did you manage to feel Hashem? Did you manage to connect to Hashem? And whether you feel it or not, if you put the time in it, the light will come to you, right? Just to finish up here a little bit. What's the test? What's the test to see? It's in your character traits. How do you treat people in this world, especially the Jews? If your Dveikut is proper, if you're clinging to Hashem in the proper sense, then you're very careful to not cause pain to any Jew. And you're not going to get prideful and pump your chest over any Jew. You see a piece of Hashem from up above inside that person. You love and you're connected internally from your heart and your innermost point to every single Jew. This is the outcome of true Dveikut. That brings a person to good midot. Because how do you get good character traits? How do you become a better person? By way of humility. By way of seeing the godly spark in everybody else and realizing if he has a godly spark and I have a godly spark, then we're equal. Right? And I'm not better than him, I'm not anything. The light that's revealed to me is what Hashem decided that I'm meant to get. And the light that was revealed to him or taken from him is what Hashem decided to do with him. I can't judge him for what he's doing and what he's going through. I have to love him in my heart. I might not like his actions, but he's my brother, and I love him, and I'm going to treat him right, and I'm going to have respect for him, right? But this is the test. If you treat people well, it's a sign that you're probably working on your relationship with God, the source of all people, right? The spark that gives light and vitality and puts any form of life in this world is Hashem, right? And if you think that you love the Father, but you have a problem with his children, you don't maybe love the Father that much, right? It can't be. It can't be. So, B'ezrat Hashem, with that we have finished the chapter on Dveikut. From here we're going to move on to Bitul, right? Nullifying ourselves to Hashem. And B'ezrat Hashem, for these of you guys that enjoy this, you can pass it on. Thank you again. Love from Tzfat.